Oh my god.
Weak of weakness. No! Cunt.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is... Anger can be a weapon if you control it, as the wise Kratos of Sparta had once said. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to having issues with anger at certain moments in their life, whether it be towards yourself or somebody else. Well, anger is certainly your biggest weapon in today's topic, hatred. An indie isometric action game where you take on the role of an edgy guy in a leather coat who's pissed the hell off. Why is he pissed off? Who knows? Who cares? All that matters is that humanity has to suffer. Before I break down this game's calling card, I need to make it clear, the actions portrayed in this game are beyond brutal, violent, and evil. I once considered Postal 2 to be the most evil game known to man due to how many options for destruction you have within the universe itself, but now that I've played this, I don't know, it's a pretty hardcore game. You guys remember that infamous Call of Duty mission for Modern Warfare 2 Original, No Russian. Well, imagine that mission, but for an entire fucking game.
Forward the purification.
Don't kill me.
Do you really think it moves me?
No.
The plot is simple. You run and gun your way through a city with a few different guns and grenades, killing all who wander into your path. Police officers will respond to the chaos you've caused and try to stop you, but you've got to stop them first. As you progress through the world, you'll discover there are different objectives that involve you wiping out a landmark of citizens to gain a checkpoint, along with some useful gear. Your name is not important. No, I'm serious. First name is not, last name important. According to the wiki itself, you are also known as the Crusader. The game has received lots of praise and criticism for its dark tones and brutal gameplay. Granted, I can imagine this is probably how our parents saw us playing games when we tried Grand Theft Auto for the first time, so I can't necessarily say it's the most insane concept. Postal 2 is infamous for being an overall bad taste game, but it's often praised for that more than shot down. It's very reminiscent of Hotline Miami, although I've never played that game, so I can't personally say I know how it is. But it does give me the vibes of playing a noir-styled version of that. Or perhaps a schizophrenic version of Project Zomboid. This psychopath that the player takes control of is capable of menacing things that might make you uncomfortable during your gameplay. If you wound people enough, you'll have the option of executing them to regain your health. This is the only way to heal in the game, by the way, so it kinda forces the player to see some of these death animations. There are multiple execution animations for each weapon, and it's disturbingly well done for what it is. The environments are entirely destructible, which is super impressive in my opinion. You can demolish walls using grenades, molotovs, and even bullets. The shotgun alone can destroy an entire wall and allow access to any building of your choosing. Some vehicles can be driven, making for a hilariously fun time. Sure, it's fucked up because you're essentially an edgy, depressed sociopath taking out his insecurities on humans, but at least it has fun with itself and offers some hilariously great dialogue at times. I didn't even know this at first, but apparently there are multiple chapters. Yeah, to my surprise, this game isn't all about mindless violence and destruction, it has somewhat of a story assembled here. Well, besides the whole misanthropy pure thing. But have this faith, the game is pretty fun if you can tune out the intentionally violent overtones. On my first try, I managed to clear out every single side mission and major area in the first level. I proudly moved on to level 2 knowing I just murdered a bunch of innocent people. Look at my face, this game is so silly, but it surprisingly works. There even exists a workshop with mods available to enhance your experience with the game. I will admit, as dark as the antagonist is, he has a very interesting voice. I wonder who played as him. Oh, it's just Tom Clark Hill. No big deal, I guess. Wait, you mean Time Splitters Cortez Tom Clark Hill? Sergeant fucking Cortez is the Crusader in Hatred? That's actually awesome. So anyways, let's get back to the destruction. The only goal within this game is to cause as much chaos as possible, execute every single walking patron you see, and leave a path of rage behind you. I mentioned earlier that the difficulty can be ridiculous at times, but that's only if you play like a complete moron. Don't expect to stand out in the open and gun down every person you see, especially when the police show up in massive numbers. Whenever you die, you'll have the option of respawning a limited amount of times. When you complete an objective in the map, you're given 2 respawn tokens. It's handy because you can stack them. I managed to somehow get up to 7 respawns by the second chapter. My biggest issue isn't the game's fault, it's my own. I run out of ammo too quickly, and there's no auto reload mechanic, so you'll have to spam R whenever you don't see bullets flying from your gun, and it's a constant thing. You can hold up to 3 guns at a time, swapping them out with others that may help you further, like the shotgun or the MP5. Oddly enough, I feel like I'm playing a fucked up version of Max Payne, a darker and more sinister spin on the story and premise. I mean, technically there isn't a story, you're just a murderous psychopath who hates people, but it's the style that works so well for me. Unfortunately, I don't think there's any Easter eggs or secrets within the game, none that I could find, but I'm sure that's incorrect. Eventually, Not Important ends up stealing a police truck with a mounted machine gun on the top. You have to swap between the gun and driving often, or you can get out of the car and attack on foot if you want. This is the train station, where we have to murder more innocent people in order to proceed. It doesn't take long for the fucking army to catch wind of what's going on and begin a counterattack. This is a really challenging segment. The soldiers have assault rifles that deal massive damage if you don't have armor. Thankfully, you can pick them up as well and deliver the same pain back to them. This is also the first chapter to introduce the flamethrower, which made me physically uncomfortable using it. The people you burn all scream and have some really accurate voice acting. It's kind of alarming. But who cares, it's just a game. Seems like a lot of work went into making this game effective, and honestly, it's both mesmerizing and threatening. You have to go up to the console inside the train building and cause it to ram into the coach car, which will blow up the entire fucking station. Jesus, how did I survive that? This is definitely a tough game if you don't know what you're doing, which I sure as shit didn't. But it's still pretty fun to take a load off and play it. Consider it a guilty pleasure. Games like Doom, Serious Sam, and this one all fall into the same category of endless horde destruction, and they're all great in their own ways. Although I do have a few minor complaints. There's no option to turn up the brightness for the game, so often I had a few issues with filming certain parts. I had to increase the brightness of my editor so you could see the chaos for yourselves. After raining down the 9 circles of hell onto the train station, Not Important makes his way downtown where an election rally has begun. With hundreds of people in the streets, this is basically an all-you-can-eat buffet for our antagonist. This level incorporates an armory that allows you to armor up multiple times, fit with every gun available in the game, including an RPG. This game kicks ass in all the guiltiest ways, but I'd still be silly not to recommend it. I paid $6 for it on Steam, and I was beyond impressed. As the game continues, the difficulty amps up to a wicked degree. You'll have to raid the army base to steal the C4 inside in order to detonate the nuclear power plant, but fuck, these guys are tough. You have the option of raising hell inside the armored truck and utilizing the machine gun, but if you sit around too long, you're just asking to be blown sky high. Like every review, it wouldn't be fair unless I provided some feedback about the things I don't like. Keep in mind, this is a great game by all means, so consider this constructive criticism. Whenever you die, you're given the option of respawning, but you can't choose where you'd like to spawn. The game automatically loads the last checkpoint you earned. However, if you're struggling at the beginning of a stage and then die, it'll place you all the way back at the start. Come on, they couldn't respawn me inside of the fucking truck, now I have to run all the way back? Seems a little silly. Second, the dialogue is a bit weird at times. It tries too hard to be edgy, and I'm sure that was intentional. Regardless, some of Not Important's quotes are either really cringe or way too dark. I'm not offended or anything, most of what he says made me laugh, but in those brief moments when he slits someone's throat and says something really heinous, I kinda lose interest. Third, the difficulty. Up until the army base level, I was doing fine in collecting more respawn tokens than I knew what to do with. But once I got to that stage, I kept getting bent over and screwed, upside down and raw, and no, it didn't feel good. Obviously that's an issue that I should confront on my own in terms of skill, but I mean, Jesus, man, I played on easy difficulty, and I just died a lot. Overall, Hatred is a game that I enjoyed for its wacky premise, but I definitely wouldn't recommend playing it around your kids or anything like that. It's fun to dive into and play what Grand Theft Auto must have looked like to our parents when we were younger. Mindless violence can be fun sometimes, and the game does that insanely well, no pun intended. Plus, it's got Cortez from Timesplitters 3, one of the greatest first-person shooters I've ever owned and played in my life. Someday, I'd love to cover that game, but I gotta figure out how the fuck emulators work. I can never seem to get it right. Anyways, that was my official review of Hatred. It's a great game when you're in the mood for a Doom-esque spin on a misanthropy simulator. I highly suggest you play it for yourselves and let me know how you feel. There are a few mods available for Hatred that make it stand out as a decent shooter, where the whole point is to die the most violent death. I guess they aced it. Thanks for watching. Next time I'll be going over the one and only Counter-Strike 2. It's probably the most played game on Steam right now, so I guess I better go with the grain and join the millions of others who are enjoying it. Is it any better? Does the game feel like an improvement? Find out next time. I'll see you then.
I hate the world and fucking people.